2023 is behind us and 2024 is upon us. But 2023, I still have some unfinished business with it. Hello everyone, Britton here, also known as Smoky Dude, and today I am back with a new video. Basically my last video talking about what I've been doing in 2023. This is my what I read in December, which is basically like a reading wrap-up that I did during the month, so... yeah, had a very productive December. I finished a lot of books. I started some books. Well, most of the books I started, I finished because I wanted to be done with most of the books I was reading before the new year, because then I would just drive myself crazy with the fact I did not finish them in 2023. But, yeah, this is the last what I read for 2023. I'm going to miss 2023. 2023 was a great year. I read a lot of great books, met a lot of interesting people, had a lot of great conversations. I even wrote a novel, so I mean, it's awesome. But yeah, it was just a really good year, and hopefully 2024 will continue the good fortune that I've been having. And so far, we've actually been having a pretty good time. So yeah, I also have some announcements at the end of this video that if you want to stick behind and watch, please feel free and wait till the end of the video, and I will do the announcements. So, yeah. Let's get into the books and comics that I read during December of 2023. This should be fun. The first one I have here is The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch. I started this in November, and I read this and finished it in December. And I had gone into this book with pretty modest expectations, because I know this is the one that has been the most disappointing for a lot of fans of Gentlemen Bastards. And after reading this book, I can kind of see why. And not for the reasons that a lot of other people might say. I mean, I actually didn't have an issue with the romance in this book. I actually thought it was pretty well done for the most part. Now, if you could have just done a story about Sabetha and Locke just trying to understand each other and realize that they do love each other and they should stop being idiots, I would have read that. And there is a lot of that in this book, and I think Lynch captures well the feeling of falling in love very well. I think he does it quite beautifully, actually, in the first couple chapters. And there are some great moments in this. Yet, alas, there is the stuff that was not very good. Lynch, generally as an author that I've noticed from reading the other two books, is the thing that he is really good at is that he really loves to put his characters in the corners, turn their strengths into weaknesses. And there's that old writing advice about writing thrillers, about how you should put your characters into a corner, and then after you put your characters into a corner, twist, and then after that, twist some more. And Lynch is generally the master of this concept. Sadly, this was not the case this time. It starts out pretty good. It seems that John and Locke are in another situation that we have no idea how they're going to scheme and get their way out of it. And then Lynch decides, for some ass-backwards reason, to drop the most blatant Deus Ex Machina I have ever seen in my life. I mean, my God, it was such a out of left field. I don't usually get irritated at books, like I'll get irritated at bad writing, but I don't generally get mad. This book literally made me mad. After reading a particular part of this that I won't spoil for you all, I had to rant for like 10 minutes. I mean, you can ask poor Jason or anyone on the Grimoire Discord page about me ranting about this particular part of this book, where Lynch, again, for some weird reason, decides to drop the most blatant Deus Ex Machina on the reader, just completely kills the tension of anything that was going on. Completely, I don't want to pretend, now I should note, I don't want to pretend like this is a complete insult to the other two books, but it is very disappointing after knowing that I know that Lynch can do better than that. He is exceptional at putting his characters through the shit, and he did not this time. I also really just didn't care about the political maneuvering. I could not care less of what was going on with this book. But again, this book is not a complete dumpster fire. It is the most disappointing out of the three books I've read so far, but there are some great moments in this to be found. I mean, again, I like the romance bits. John and Locke are always fun together. There's a really great moment at the beginning of the story where Jean basically implores Locke to live, and I thought that was a really beautiful moment. I won't go too much into more detail, but Republic of Thieves was okay. I was kind of surprised that Jimmy and Joanna really liked this book because there's a lot of blatant flaws in here that I thought kind of held this book back. And I know that Scott Lynch was going through some mental health problems at the time. I know he went through a nasty divorce. Now, I don't think that excuses bad writing, but I understand that definitely the quality, you could tell the quality was slipping, and Lynch's heart wasn't fully in it. And again, not everything in this book is bad. It's just kind of a massive disappointment in comparison to the other two. But yeah, I'll make a video discussing Republic of Thieves because I have a lot of thoughts about that. So yeah, we'll just move on. Next book I read was my first Christmas read, and that is The Green Knight from. Well, we don't know who originally wrote it, but who translated it was the poet Bernard O'Donoghue, and I thought Bernard O'Donoghue did a good job. And I really like this copy because, one, it has the cover from the film, and if you know me very well, you know I am a fanboy of the A24 Green Knight film, and David Lowery, the director of that movie, actually does the introduction of this story. It's pretty good, though. I'm not a big King Arthur fan, but I was just straight up in love with the Green Knight film, and the poem is different. I will say that it is different. It's not the same story, but I liked the story. I thought it was pretty good. A lot of really great mythological references in here, and also the footnotes are really nice as well. I'm not really huge in the footnotes, but I did go back and read some of them. Good stuff. I really enjoyed this copy of The Green Knight, and I actually really want to read the Tolkien version, because I've heard the Tolkien version is probably the best version of Gawain and the Green Knight, and also I like Tolkien a lot, so there you go. But yeah, The Green Knight, I really like this copy, and hopefully if T from An Erudite Adventure will find a time, I'm going to hopefully talk about this with T from An Erudite Adventure, who really loves this story. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, Green Knight, good stuff. Next book I have here was actually my favorite book that I read last December, and that is City of Thieves by David Benioff. Yes, the same David Benioff who co-wrote the Game of Thrones adaptation along with D.B. Weiss. What can I say? This book was fantastic. I absolutely enjoyed myself when reading this. It was a very similar experience to when I read The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. And to be honest, I'm kind of shocked that Michael Chabon himself didn't write this story, because this seems like a story that he would write. Benioff has a very tall task, and I was really nervous that he would suck at this, because I was really nervous that this would suck because, well, the Game of Thrones ending sucked so bad, and I still remember that, but I really enjoyed City of Thieves a lot. I think it's a really well done story about and somehow Benioff manages to find the whimsy in one of the darkest periods of World War II. I mean, if you know your World War II history, then you know that the Eastern Front of World War II was some of the most brutal and ruthless fighting of the war, aside from the Pacific Theater. I mean, if you really want to go into what was more brutal, I am not going to go into that here. But City of Thieves does not shy away from that. Despite its rather whimsical tone at times, this book never shies away from the tragedy of war. It never shies away from how horrific war can be. But there's also just this beautiful friendship between these two characters that forms. And there's a lot of great humor in this story. And also, it ends on a very tragic note and showcases just why war is such a horrible thing. It doesn't preach. It just shows you as it is. But don't make it sound like it's a preachy mess. It's not preachy. It just shows you the inherent tragedy of war and how war can often rob people of their potential, of what they could have done had they not have fought in this terrible conflict. But I loved City of Thieves. I thought it was a fantastic read. And David Benioff, turns out he can write a pretty good novel when he puts his mind to the task. Hopefully he'll write another one. Though I do want to check out the 25th Hour at some point. Next Christmas read that I had for my December reads is A Cold Place for Dying by the main man, Christopher Triana. Is this as good as Gone to See the Riverman? No. There was actually a couple of flaws in this that I felt kind of held it back for me. I mean, I didn't feel quite as compelled as Gone to See the Riverman. Take that as you will. I'm sure Jason will have his snarky comments about that. But solid thriller, not quite as messed up as Gone to See the Riverman, but it's definitely a really compelling, fast-paced thriller that constantly keeps you on your toes. Aside from the couple grammatical errors in this book, there were a couple of blatant grammatical errors. Now, that doesn't really take away from my experience, but I still felt that it should be noted. I thought this was a solid book, though, again, I felt that there was some stuff that held it back. Particularly the ending, it just kind of wraps itself up a little too nicely, but I thought this was pretty solid for the most part, and not quite as disappointing as, like, the Republic of Thieves, but I thought it was a solid, well-done thriller with a really compelling hook, and the way that Triana builds tension, it's pretty damn good. So I'm really hoping to read more of Triana in the future. Again, Gone to See the Riverman was basically as much of a bang as you could start out. That book is amazing. But A Cold Place for Dying is pretty solid as well. If you can deal with the occasional grammatical error, this is really well done. I enjoyed this a lot. Next book I have here is my last Christmas read of the year, and that was Mr. Timothy by Louis Bayard. And if you don't know already, I've covered one of Louis Bayard's books before, The Pale Blue Eye, which is based on Edgar Allan Poe, one of my favorite short story writers. As a matter of fact, he might be my favorite short story writer. Mr. Timothy, if you couldn't gather already, is a riff on A Christmas Carol and Charles Dickens' work. There are a couple references not just to A Christmas Carol, but also to many of Dickens' other work. And does this hold a candle to the master that is Dickens? No. And to be fair, Mr. Timothy is not trying to replicate Dickens. He is trying to definitely give a feel of the style. I mean, the style is very, not really, I guess the style's not really, but just how they wrote back in the day, he does kind of do differently. Like you can see right there, the dialogue marks are very different. But this book is very different from A Christmas Carol, though it does expand on the themes of A Christmas Carol in a really interesting way about how people are exploited in the line of in Victorian England. And this is more of a Victorian crime thriller, unlike the morality tale of Dickens' original. But I think Mr. Timothy is a very good follow-up to A Christmas Carol. You don't have to read it if you don't want to, but if you do, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. And I do hope to read more from Louis Bayard in the future. I did like The Pale Blue Eye for more, because I thought the ending was a lot better. Now, the ending in this is pretty good, but The Pale Blue Eyes ending is phenomenal. Man, I was sad I left that out of my top 10 books of the year, because, man, it was so close, because that ending was so good. But Mr. Timothy is also a really good book. And if you're a fan of Dickens and want to read something Dickens adjacent, can't go wrong with Mr. Timothy. Great stuff. Great stuff. Or very good stuff. The only comic that I read this last month, I decided to say screw it and read the newest volume of Saga Volume 11, because, well, I guess I should just say screw it and catch up with all of it, and now I am fully caught up with Saga, and, of course, Brian K. Vaughan, being the sadistic bastard that he is, keeps ripping my heart out every chance that he gets. Not quite as impactful as issue 54. I don't think he's really... I don't know if Brian K. Vaughan is going to ever top the just shocking moment that was what happened in Volume 9. But this is clearly... we're clearly kind of... This is more of a slice of life volume. But, man, Brian K. Vaughan is just so good. And it's really good stuff. I enjoy... the artwork, of course, by Fiona Staples is very good. Let me just find some work There's that. There's this freaking guy. I hate this dude. But great artwork. That it doesn't quite have the visual gusto of some of her some of the other volumes, but it's really good. And Fiona Staples, I don't want to leave her out. I mean, I tend to pay more attention to the writing because I'm a writer, but the art in this is also fantastic. And Brian K. Vaughan, man, can't go wrong with him. He's really something else. And yeah, Saga might be one of the best comics ever. And if you want to, go tell Tori to read it. I think she'll really get a kick out of Saga. In terms of American comics, anyway. Right. Well, that is all the books I read in December of 2023. So let's get into the announcements real quick. Since I promised you announcements, I'm giving you announcements now. So, yeah, let's go. Friday, I am going to be doing the first What's the Big Fuss announcement for the month of January on Friday. And if you want to go vote on the What's the Big Fuss poll, it is on my community tab. I've been using that thing a lot lately. Go vote for a book that is really popular that you guys want me to read. Fourth Wing, for some reason, is winning because I said the other day that my audience doesn't want to torture me too much. I clearly spoke too soon. But yeah, What's the Big Fuss announcement will be on Friday. I'll be discussing the book that I will be covering. And that should be fun. So yeah, next really big announcement is that a couple of streams are coming up on my channel in a couple of weeks. You've probably already seen it. If you've clicked on the live tab on my channel, you've probably already seen it. It is one of them will be the 1 year stream that I am doing on my channel because I really... Well, how do I put this? I'm very proud that I made it to 1 year. My first official video that I made on this channel anyway was January the 25th. It will be on the 26th because that's a Friday. And I generally am not as busy on Fridays. And hopefully people will show up on Friday because, Fridays are good streaming days. I hope to have some people on for the 1 year stream. Hopefully people will come on and have a good time, and we'll have some laughs together. You can ask me anything you want, or well, actually, that I spoke too soon. That's for the other thing I'm announcing. But on the same weekend, I will be doing the Britton's Hangout Hour episode 50, and what is the big deal with that? It will just be me. So basically, what I'll be doing is I'll be sitting here. And you guys can tell me anything. You can ask me anything you want about the podcast, about stuff I'm reading, about anything you guys want. You can recommend me anything you want. Feel free. I may have some people show up. I'm more leaning on having more people show up on the 1 year stream than the one for Britain's Hangout Hour 50. For that, I'm just going to try and do by myself. But yeah, on Britain's Hangout Hour 50, ask me whatever you want about the podcast, about what I hope to do, people I hope to have on. Ask me anything you want. I would love to hear from you guys. Just ask me whatever you guys want to ask, and it will be on Sunday, January the 28th at 6 p.m. So I am very much looking forward to doing that, and yeah, I just need to get a guest for episode 49. But, 50 should be a lot of fun. I was going to have somebody on for 50, but I decided, because it was kind of on short notice, that I decided just to do this other idea I had, which is just, how about just have myself and do a stream, and we can make a whole thing out of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't actually have a guest for 49 yet, and unless you've already been on. If you want to come on my podcast, feel free to let me know. I mean, it's a lot easier than me asking a bunch of people. Let me tell you, oh man. But yeah, so yeah, my 50th episode will be just me, and again, you can guys ask me whatever you want. You can say whatever you guys want. Don't say anything that's like racist or sexist or anything like that. That's a no-go on this channel. But you can ask me whatever you want about the podcast channel. I've already said it. So yeah, that'll be on the 28th. The 1 year stream will be on January the 26th, and that will be at 6:30 p.m. So Central Time on both. So if you guys are interested in watching either of those, check that on your calendar. Or if you want to go on my live, you can just click the notify me button, and you can do that. So yeah, that's about it in terms of announcements that I'm going to do on the channel. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You can check me out on Twitter. You can check me out on Goodreads and Letterboxd, where I write reviews that are probably more coherent than the one you just heard right now. And you can also find me on Discord. I love talking with you guys. I love hearing from you guys. Please comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. As my friend John from Talking Story likes to say, it feels good. Anyway, have a good hump day, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you guys later.